Camera, action!
Hey everybody, how's it going? Anthony's right here. You gotta get the camera set up. How's everyone doing?
Muy bien, I hope.
Good. So, what's tonight's topic of discussion?
Our first topic will be poppets. Second,
Petitions. We're gonna go lightly into that. Mostly we'll probably be talking about poppets. We have a few examples here tonight. Just a couple.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different types.
We got some cool stuff. Different variations.
So I guess the cool thing would be to be... Oh, well, can't talk. The good thing to start off with probably is, what do you think of poppets?
Poppets, I don't work with them that often. For me, it's just kind of a lot of work. It's like you gotta make it, you gotta fix it, you gotta do whatever you gotta do with it.
I love working with poppets.
Yeah.
I like to always tell people, you're never too old to play with dolls.
Especially when you're doing magic.
I know. I love that you can make them either like a mojo bag almost, to where it can be to attract something, to repel something, almost like an amulet or a talisman. You can use it to represent people. You can use it to house a spirit that you make, or house a spirit that you make contact with, maybe even a familiar spirit or the spirit of a dead person. What else?
Yeah, they don't have to represent specific entities or people. Sometimes you can make them just to represent a goal, like attraction for money drawing, love drawing. No, not one specific, but just to be like a magical familiar almost.
Like a mojo bag.
Mm-hmm.
I like that it actually does take time, because it's just more time that you're focusing in on it. I mean, it's nice when you have time to... This is a hand-stitched one, isn't it?
Yeah, I did that with felt. I drew the face on with Sharpie.
Yeah. Who doesn't love Sharpie? It's good for your eyebrows. But if you take that time, I've made them to where they're probably like 7 inches tall, and that took me like 6 hours.
Yeah, they're time consuming.
So, I mean, varies if you really want to sit there for 6 hours making one poppet for one thing, but it's up to you. Mm-hmm. With me, he actually taught me how to do the ones with clay. And what do you think of the ones with clay as opposed to hand-stitched cloth?
The clay is easier for me to use because I'll grind my herbs and oils into the clay, and then I'll let it dry. Sometimes you can throw them in the oven and let them, bake until they're dried out. But if you have air bubbles on the inside, it can crack or pop sometime. So you gotta be careful. Usually when I make a clay poppet, I let them slowly air dry. We live in Arizona.
It does not take long for them to air dry.
Yeah, Phoenix, a cool day's 100. Seriously.
It's actually been really nice lately. Yes. It's been raining.
But yeah, here's a clay one.
I remember he taught me how to make clay poppets because I was going through a lot of stuff a while back. And what I did, it was more of a malefic spell, I guess you can say, because I don't see magic as black or white. But the whole house smelled like a rotting roadkill, was the words I believe we used. It smelled like it for what, 2 days?
Yeah, it stunk.
It smelled like rotting roadkill. But
it wasn't really malefic, it was more of a self-defense type of thing.
Yeah, but they drove it to that point.
Yeah.
Just because you know how to hurt someone doesn't mean you should go around doing it. I mean, if you're forced to, go for it.
And I tell Anthony all the time, too, be careful what you conjure, because there's always somebody out there who's going to be bigger and stronger than you are.
Yeah.
And you don't know what kind of smackdown they can bring. So,
conjure
with caution.
I like the Levian part of it. By not saying everything you know, which I'm sure a lot of people do, but I like how you put it. Act stupid. I do that a lot.
Me, I just what's that phrase from Ghostbusters? You are the buzzing of flies to him. It's the second one they're talking about Vigo. Mm-hmm. Yeah, most people are just annoying, and I just try to...
Yeah.
But other types of poppets.
Maybe we should... Yeah, other types. I made this one, and I make it out of bandana and yarn, and I'll use different things like sticks of a certain type for filling it to make the limbs. You can make them have 2 legs. This one, I liked how it came out. This one's a money poppet. I haven't consecrated it yet, but the 2 little paisleys on it from the bandana look like eyes on the side. See how it almost has like an alien head? And I used green for money drawing and red to make it come quick, to kind of like heat it up. Go on to the ones you made.
This one I made for an example for a class. I actually used a cookie cutter. Seriously.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I used a cookie cutter, Sharpie on the inside, 2 pieces of felt, stitched them, flipped it inside out, and stuffed it full of money drawing herbs and stuff like that. So it went pretty good for a while, but it's pretty much dead.
Something I like to make, because it's really quick to make on the fly, is actually yarn poppets. And you can make them and then stuff them immediately after really easily by just driving it into the correct spot. If it's for, let's say, someone is harming you and you need to bind them, you can actually stuff it with binding herbs or soak it in an infusion made of them. Or if it's for money drawing or love drawing, you can do the same thing, soak it in it. Because it is yarn, you don't want to lose all of it everywhere. Soak it in there and then just refresh it with the spray of the infusion.
And your colors are going to correspond naturally. So like red for love, movement, travel, or protection, getting rid of people, green for money. This one I made for a class. It was, well, I taught the class on Poppets Magick. It's more of the, I've been told it's more of the Louisiana traditional style, but
it's cute.
Yeah, it's like feathers on the head. The head's made out of clay, so if we're not careful, it looks like The Exorcist.
That's even cuter.
There's Spanish moss. The whole thing's wrapped in different types, different lengths of fabric, and it's just made with using 2 dowels, or 2 wooden dowels that were tied up and wrapped. The Spanish moss was wrapped around it, and it's tied at the ends where the limbs are.
When I read Denise Alvarado's book on poppets, I was like, shoot, that seems so simple, and I'm gonna go through so much Spanish moss. I bought some, and I used it like maybe twice because I don't really use Spanish moss. It's so messy too.
I don't use it that often either. I have a huge bag in the back, and I'm just like,
we haven't even used it since we've been together.
No, I think this is the first poppet, the only poppet I've made using it. So it's cute, but it just takes a lot of work.
I like that one.
This one is one that I make specifically. This was just for on the fly here for the video, and the limbs are usually a little bit smaller, but it's made out of about 6 feet of rope. No glue, no tacks, no staples, nothing.
It wasn't cut in any part whatsoever.
No, it wasn't. We'll probably end up remaking him, and I'll show you guys how he normally looks, but, it's got the arms and the head and the 2 legs. And for a while there was so much extra string, it was gender specific. It was a boy for a while.
Yeah, I liked how it stood straight up, too, with the amount of rope that was left.
So,
he just tucked it.
Yeah, he tucked, so he's kind of like a drag queen.
It's awesome, though. Drag queens are pretty fun.
Yeah, I learned how to make this one night from channeling. So spirits were like, do this. I'm like, okay. So I grabbed some rope. Yes, I have rope lying around my house.
Date night.
Yes. But and I was just in there doing this, and I was like, oh my god, I made it. So I made a couple of them, and I'll give them to clients or friends, what have you. But I'm probably going to try to make some more that are more professional looking, that I take more time on. This I threw together in probably about 10 minutes.
It was like 8 minutes.
Yeah, around 10 minutes.
Oh.
But the other one.
Give me my girl. This one, I need to recharge her because I kind of let her die. So I can actually just completely make a new entity with her. She's a porcelain doll. I actually got her as a birthday gift from my grandmother. And I cleansed her, and then I basically made her persona. And then I redid her face, and I gave her boobs because she's a lady. Like that.
She's had work done.
She got it done. Dr. Borgman, Dr. Lucero. And let me go closer up. So originally the tag on her showed when she was brand new was like $90. My grandma got her for me for like $20, I think, because I actually had a Goodwill for my birthday, and we were there, and I was like kind of bored, and I was like, oh my god, she's cute, I want her. See that makeup? Yeah, I did that. Them brows too, hunty. He almost spit out his apple juice, or
grape
cranberry.
juice today.
I thought it was cranberry too. I don't know.
Well, it's cran grape. We're trying to be healthier. It sucks.
Yeah. You can also add a little bit of a veil if you want to get for that Lydia Dietz thing. But I also have a leather mojo bag, and it has bones and some other stuff there to charge her up. Some bloods. But I love this dress. I love how you can basically make your own servitor if you want a more permanent one, and house it whether in a statue, a doll. I personally like dolls. I don't know if it's like something from a past life too. I love that he's actually like turning her.
I feel like Home Shopping Network.
I know, because she's pretty, though.
But she's not for sale.
No. We are in the process of tweaking some that we're going to consider selling at Pagan Pride Day. But she's not going to be one of them because she's one of my personal ones. And I actually really love her. And her stand is actually the original stand, and it's all wood. I don't know what kind of wood that is, but she still has her shoes and everything.
She laces on high, she's going to trip.
You tripping.
Sit her
On the floor. But she's so pretty. Mojo will eat her hair.
No, she won't.
Yeah. But also brings us with making an entity or a servitor within it. A bunch of people love the word egregore or idealon. I see them all as the same thing as a servitor.
Thought form. That's the way I was always. Hey, we just did the same thing.
It's like so you want to build a snowman? You want to build a poppet?
Okay.
So everyone always, you're going to need to charge it up, consecrate it, baptize it, however you desire to call it. You can, with that one, you can use the consecration oil and rub it into it. If I'm on the fly, what I'll do would be to baptize it with holy water, a little bit more close to hoodoo and brujeria, because all you're going to do is the same basic Catholic or Christian baptism. I baptize you, state name that you're giving it, or person's name. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, Amen. Santa Maria, na 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 na. You know. No disrespect to anyone. I just love Sofia Regala. I got off topic.
That's not a joke back there. Start to go.
But you can do it that way. Or you can do it, one of my favorite books, which actually went into one of my favorite consecration rituals for Poppets, because I love Poppets, was Utterly Wicked by Dorothy Morrison. And I actually have had this book since I was like a junior in high school, I think.
Yeah, I've never read that. I have a couple of her earlier stuff, but
I really love this one. This was the first book I ever read by her. I never read any of her other stuff really. I started reading Everyday Magic, but that's the only other one I've actually read.
Yeah, that's the one I have. I think I ordered that when it first came out back in the 90s. Yeah, when everything was done through mail ordering, Llewellyn would send me a monthly catalog. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Big stack of old Llewellyns.
So she lists that you should use a white candle, and consecration incense. Where is it? I also like that she gives you tips on stuffing the different cavities of it, and different things that you can use to make it. I've actually made magic poppets out of a Dollar Tree Barbie because I learned how to from this book.
Mm-hmm. That was interesting.
Calling it my ghetto poppet.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a Barbie. It was just like a...
It was a knockoff Barbie.
Yeah.
Because you do not spend money on Barbie. Trash her. Barbie's cute. She's so controversial. But back on topic. I like that with them, she'll instruct you properly on putting a death date. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean you're going to kill a target or anything. I mean, unless you are, that's the wrong thing. But, because you don't want it to get out of hand. Because once it goes wild, it's not the kind of wild you want. Mm-hmm. So let's say it's for protection. It can end up hurting everyone that could possibly accidentally harm you. Because technically it's still protecting you.
Yep.
And that's where your petitions will come in later. But
yeah,
I was actually discussing it with a lot of people before. And some people were like, no, you don't need to put it because it's all about your intent. Again, I'm not a fan of the word intent in the least.
Me either.
I prefer the term will.
Because it's like, I intended to go to the gym for the past 6 months.
It was like 3 months ago.
Yeah, we've been intending to go to the gym, but you know, if it's all about intent, then we would have still reaped results, maybe.
However, we did will ourselves to want cheeseburgers, so we got cheeseburgers.
Right? Mm-hmm. See, the difference between will
and intent.
So you either will yourself go to the gym, or you will yourself to get a cheeseburger. We opted for cheeseburgers.
There's people full of good intentions, and all they have is shit.
Yeah, good intentions can oftentimes lead to the biggest problems. I personally have a big problem with when people say it's about intent. You know,
with me,
that's just a me thing. Don't take it offensive. If you do,
no disrespect to you. It's just me.
If you get offended, we didn't intend for you to. So.
Oh, I love you.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some hate mail, but oh well.
But it's true. I mean, anyways, You must intend to have a death date.
Yeah, it's
Sorry, we're getting
we're
crazy.
getting on topic. But the death date is actually more of the entity or the thought form's cutoff date.
Mm-hmm.
It's when it stops
It has to
regenerating
have
itself.
its work done by then.
Yes, if it doesn't, then they can run a little buck wild. We've had that experience a couple of times where we've had stuff running through. There is one server thought form dealie that we've been working on, and it has the appearance that it is moving.
Oh, I love her.
It tripped me out the first time we
I
started
was
working
like,
with
look,
it.
she's moving. It's amazing.
Yeah,
He's like, what?
She's like, well, I noticed at first. So she's a huge honking doll.
She's 5 feet tall.
And
not that kind of doll. She's magical purpose.
Yeah, it's like a mannequin type dealie that was on a part
It's actually
of a
from
display.
Fashion Square.
Yeah, it was part of a Christmas display or a holiday display that was just discarded. So we got it, and we decided, okay, we'll go ahead and use this and see what kind of mischief we can cause.
She's pretty.
Yeah, the first couple of days that she was here, it would
freaked
look
the hell out
like
of the roommate.
she was staring at me.
And she would move her
Yeah,
hand and her head, her face.
It's like she's doing a robot.
Yeah.
But, while our roommates came home one day, and one roommate just looked at it, and she's like, holy crap, it's moving. And so our other roommate came home, and he said the same thing. He was in the room by himself. He just saw it was here in the living room. We actually had to move into the back room because it freaked people out.
Even a circle member saw it.
Yeah, one of our
awesome.
circle members was just like, oh, nope.
And then that was crazy because that's one of the fastest I've seen manifest in shadow form outside of its vessel.
Yeah, it pretty much took life on its own because we gave it a name. We're not going to share that. Sorry. It's just a common name that we decided to refer to it as because of some traits that it had. There was a name that was written on the bottom of the stand, so I ended up getting some sandpaper and sanding that off, and we kept referring to it by this name, and we kept telling it what it was going to do, and it just kind of.
And that in itself is giving it power because if you name something, you give it power. Think about it. Like if you're on a farm, don't name the cow. Don't name the cow. What happens when you name the cow? It has a little bit of power over you because you have that sympathy build up for it, and then you have to. Because you want a cheeseburger.
Yeah, I used to get in trouble for that all the time when I was little. My grandmother would always get mad at me because I'd name the lambs. I grew up my
Oh, I love mutton.
Yes.
Sorry.
Well, when it's cooked right.
Yeah.
But back on topic.
So by vessel, we mean poppet. Whatever size, form, shape, material, that is the vessel for what you're wanting.
This one's good for fighting vampires too.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, I like the consecration ritual that she gives you in her book, Utterly Wicked. It requires activation incense. I've used frankincense and myrrh with a good result. It's a hangman. And
It's Woody and Bez.
frankincense and myrrh work is a really good consecration incense. Isn't it also called holy incense or something?
Yeah, it's oftentimes used in the church.
Yeah.
It's commonly called church incense, frankincense and myrrh, and sometimes they'll throw like.
You can buy them at mercados and stuff really easy.
Yeah.
For like $1.89 for a quarter ounce of them. And it's just the...
It's just resins.
Yes. It's also added what?
Frankincense, myrrh, sometimes they'll add like rose.
Or gum arabic.
Yeah.
But I just like the frankincense even by itself. Myrrh is by itself.
I'm not too crazy on the smell of myrrh.
I like it mixed with frankincense.
Yeah, the other day we were both jonesing for frankincense for some reason.
It was... I don't know why. It also made me hungry. But... You can use that. It says table salt. I prefer to use either gravel or potting soil because salt works. It says for me, I prefer that. Preferences again. Mm-hmm. Intentional.
I like to use salt.
The reason why I think I feel more comfortable with potting soil is because it looks like the earth. It has like that whole darker earthiness of like the womb. It's darker. It comes out of it into life. Especially for the consecration of a poppet, but salt does work. It's just I like that visual aspect of the potting soil.
Mm-hmm. And I like the salt because of its purifying properties.
And then also water, preferably consecrated water, which also brings me to the potting soil because there's already some salt water mixed in. Sometimes depending if you're using that one or the Catholic holy water. And then the poppet prepared itself. So I like it because you light the incense and you pass it through the incense saying, I bless you with air, winds blown cold, and winds blown fair. And then you'll get it, with a candle or a source of fire without setting it on fire, obviously. I'm trying to remember it off my head. I can't. I bless you with the kiss of fire that burns in all with hot desire. You'll go into the west. I bless you with the waters of life, both gentle trickles and raging strife, and you'll trickle a little bit of water on it, like normal when you're cleansing an area.
Yeah. If you're using a clay poppet, you gotta wait for it to dry before you sprinkle water on it. And don't be too generous with the water, especially with the clay ones, because they will dissolve.
Yeah. And then with earth, I bless you now. With earth, I bless you now at last, forest field and mountain pass. And just sprinkle some of the earth on it, or you can lay it in the bed of the earth. And then she has the last part right here. I always forget half of it right in the middle. I don't know why. Pop it with this consecration, you become such and such as representation, or money drawings representation, if you're going to do it for that. Every thought I send your way will... She wrote this one obviously more towards the malefic working.
I wouldn't say it's malefic. It's more towards, like, if you're doing healing work on a person.
Yeah, you can use it for that too. But the general consensus of this whole book is that it's malefic. And I just love how badass that word sounds. Sorry.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's malefic, but when somebody's got to start it, you got to bring it.
Mm-hmm. Pop it with this consecration, you become blank space there's representation. Every thought I send your way will in his, her, name's life begin to play. Every action befalling you will befall, blank space for name, just as true, as if she or he were actually in your place by my will, though not a trace of harm shall come to anyone except for, insert name, by moon and sun, by wind and flame, by land and sea, as I will, so shall it be.
Yeah, the full explanation of everything's on here. Yeah, in the book, so check it out.
Yeah. I also like that she also lists disposal methods of poppets. I like that she calls one recipe swamp water by dissolving your poppet in a bucket of water filled with dissolved aspirin. Because it has willow in it.
Yeah, you can make a really strong cup of willow tea too.
Mm-hmm. But you leave it there, like, it takes like a month to completely dissolve. I think, like, I don't remember what material she talks about for that one. Or you can burn it completely. You can throw it in. I throw it into either rivers or arroyos because we don't really have a lot of lakes here.
What's an arroyo?
That thingy that's by where Alpha's was.
A canal.
Yes. I've always called it an arroyo. It's just my hometown. That's what they were called. Even though I don't even know if it's the same thing technically.
It's a waterway, basically.
You can toss it into a waterway. Man-made, naturally made, doesn't matter. Or you can bury it or leave it on top of a mountain and let the elements dispose of it. Also with bread poppets, if you're wanting to get rid of something like a bad trait or something, you can do the same thing, I'm sure. And then bury it and let it dissolve away.
Yeah, I've never worked with food poppets. There is an old book called Victorian Grimoire where you get some sticks and you make a little poppet and you stick an apple on top for the head. I've never made one of those. It's just, I'm a lazy magician.
I love poppets.
Yeah. The way that I usually consecrate them is, say I have my poppet, add my corresponding stuff. It's already fashioned. So for money, I would probably use bayberry, cinco foil, nutmeg, probably some 5-finger grass.
That's cinco foil.
Yeah. My bad. Witch's grass, also known as dog grass or couch grass. Stuff them all in here. Stitch at the top. And then I would have it on my altar, my workspace. Have candles corresponding to what it is that's working, maybe 2 or 1. Or I will put it in a triangle.
F3.
Yeah. And then I'll dress it. I'll have my incense burner going there and, pass it through the incense and just do like a little purification. Purified and cleansed you'll be, as it will, so shall it be. Pass it through the flame of the candle. I consecrate you with the element of fire to work my will and my desire. Water, I cleanse you with earth. Blah, blah, blah. Earth, manifest that which I state. As this poppet as I do here lay, that it will bring wealth and prosperity night and day. Rhyme. Get done with your pagan reps. Or if it's protection,
Protection around me you will bring just every time with this bell I ring, and then you have a bell and enhance it.
Mm-hmm. And some people will stick little
trinkets
onto their poppets. So I've seen some with spells, pentacles, something that corresponds to your desire. After that, just keep it in a safe place. And some people will feed the poppet That's usually done to keep it charged up, especially if it's for like attraction for prosperity, money, love,
Or if it's a ongoing servitor too.
yeah, if it's just to keep the charge going. If you keep an ongoing one, keep a very close eye on it because they have a little tendency to go buck
Oh, you're
wild.
talking about little girl, huh?
Yeah, sometimes they go buck wild and they can show up as shadows or things moving around.
Sometimes you want them to show up as shadows, but whenever they're being an ass just because they like to feed off it, be careful when you make a vampiric one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that.
Yes. There was a vampiric puppet that
I made a little lazily.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she was fun until...
Yeah, she tried to start up with me. I'm like, no.
It was funny.
But, those are just other methods of doing it. If you're doing it for something of more of a negative nature, you can bind it. But it's also believed by some people that if you bind something, it also binds that thing to you. Or it binds that negativity to you until you dispose of it. And I got into an argument once with somebody at a class I was teaching who was talking about karma and all that stuff. And me personally, karma is physics. It's action and reaction. It's like if I go up to somebody and I were to punch them in the face, I wouldn't get punched 3 times or 3 times hit 3 times as hard, but that person's going to be cautious around me and be like, that guy's an ass. He's going to tell everybody about what happened, and it's just I got to deal with the consequences of me punching this individual.
See, I agree with the physics theory too. On yes, curse someone if you want to. However, if they decide to reverse it to you, and it is possible to actually magnify when they reverse. If it hits you harder, it's not because there's a cosmic call monitor watching you and saying, you get a tardy or a detention or whatever the hell slip. It's because they personally magnified it. They wanted it thrown back to you because they were stronger, bigger, better than you at that working. Or they're well protected, it misses target, and it just kind of like not necessarily a boomerang, it's kind of like circled back around. Not harder or
it becomes like a tennis match. One person hits the ball and the other person hits it and it goes back and forth. And whoever misses,
bam.
SOL.
Yeah. But it's not because there's a cosmic call monitor saying, oh, well, you did this, so you get timeout in the soul room for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and a lot of the karma you have to take into consideration the origins of it. That's more of the
Eastern concepts.
Eastern philosophy.
Most witchcraft is Western concept. Even
European. Yeah, they have their forms, but that's something that's way out of my league. But that's...
When creating poppets for another consecration you can do with basically any type of waters you want, a lot of people use either the triangle of manifestation. I had to.
Okay.
Or the yoni symbol, the vagina symbol, because it's where life comes from. And they will, I've done it before too, and it works really good. You will hold it over the poppet. I've used it on candles too. And you will speak to it through it. And then you will breathe on it with the breath of life, and then symbolically bring it through the wombs into life. And then again, breathe on it, the breath of life.
That's why I like to do the triangle, because he said that's a triangle manifestation. The fourth point, which is your whatchamahopper, and it, amps it up for creation, stuff like that, but that's a whole other subject.
That's a long-ass discussion.
Yeah.
But I'll use this one. It's cute. When using anything that's cloth or clay that's drawable, change it up. Personalize it, especially if it's to affect a person, whether it's a love spell, blasting, protection, healing, anything. Money drawing. Personalize it. Make it look like them. Make it look like the servitor you want it to look like. Carve whatever symbols you want into it. If it's money, drawing, or to bring it to someone. Add those symbols. Add a birth date. Add full first, last name, middle name, son of such and such and such. Add the city they're born in.
Yeah, it's all up to you to personalize it if you're focusing on a specific target.
Yeah. But just because you are doesn't mean it's always blasting. You could be healing someone.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people use them for healing. I've actually made poppets for people who are going through severe health issues, and I would just bless it, charge it up, and give it to them. Tell them, okay, you're going to tell them what the problem is. You're going to tell it you're stressed, like it's like a worry doll, but I fix them a little bit differently. And it would do it, and it would absorb with the goal of absorbing the negativity, the fear, the doubt, especially when healing comes into play. Anything that they've, just letting go of that negativity. And then afterwards, I'll go with the client out into the desert, and we'll, deconsecrate it, cleanse it, cut it apart, and we'll bury it out in the desert. And it's, to symbolically, bury that issue so it doesn't happen or come back up.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I think I don't want to risk us running out of time.
Okay.
Do you want to do?
Well, we'll go ahead and
a
cover
separate
petitions. Video? Well, yeah, we'll cover petitions next time with something else because that's always a fun topic. We've got a lot of stories.
Oh yeah, that'll easily run 30 minutes like
Yeah.
this did.
So, good night, everybody.
I'm more of a piece it kind of chick with my Marilyn Manson shirt.
Marilyn Manson? Oh well.
It's from his Armageddon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cussed a few times. Not big words, just I think I said like the S word.
Yeah, I think we both did.
Oh well.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.